What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Grey Man Operations. The second time I'm recording this video because the first time I forgot to press the record button. Today we're going to talk about weapon mounted lights, and I'm going to outline why I think you should go for the full size for EDC over a compact. Before we get into that, guys, Snake Staff Systems tourniquets, they are on my website www.greymanoperations.com. If you are a patron, you would have already had access to it, but for the rest of you, it is now live on my website. If you want to become a patron, I give away gear, thousands of rands worth of gear every single month. This month, we are giving away a trauma kit worth a few $1,000, and next month, we're giving away a Holosun 47K again. If you want to be a patron, it's the first link in the video description below on YouTube, and on Facebook or Instagram, it is the first comment. Let's talk about full size versus compact weapon mounted lights. Now, guys, the first thing I want to outline is everything in this video is a pin, nothing is a recommendation. Use this, don't use it, it's up to you. But first thing I want to talk about is control. Guys, in a conflict environment, that fear that you have that when you put your light on it's going to attract attention is real. Okay, lights attract bugs and bullets, and if you do put your light on and it's a high powered light, it is going to attract attention. Therefore, you need to ensure that whatever tool you are running, you have maximum control over it. Now, something I'd like to explain is a lot of instructors teach that in a high stress environment, you are not going to have the fine motor skills required to press down the slide release button. So here's my question. Now, personally, I don't fully agree with this. I believe in a high stress situation, you're going to revert to your training. And so if your training dictates that you drop that slide with your thumb, you'll probably do it. If you power stroke it, you'll probably do that. But if you can't press that button, what makes you think you're going to be able to press that button? Because they are similarly sized. And this is something that I don't fully understand with weapon mounted light manufacturers. I don't know why the thought process is that if you go to a full size weapon mounted light, you get these amazing toggles or full size buttons, right? But when you go to a compact weapon mounted light, it's like they decide, well, the interface for that light isn't that important. The interface between operator and the tool that they are operating is vitally important, okay? It is probably one of the most important things when it comes to weapon mounted lights. And so for me to sacrifice that control for a slightly smaller light does not make sense. Now, if you watched my video last week, I outlined why I thought that full-sized holsters or bigger holsters are more comfortable and more concealable than smaller holsters. If you're watching on YouTube, that video link's popping up in your screen right now. If you're not watching on YouTube, head over to the link in my bio and watch this video on YouTube where you'll find that video from last week. The next one I want to talk to you about is output. Now, if we look at these shots, right, there is some similarity between the TLR1HL and the TLR7A, although you can clearly see the TLR1HL has much more impact on the target, which would give me much more control over that target, because it has, like, I think 3 or 4 times the amount of candela. And when I switch to the GoPro footage, you can see a bit better that the TLR1HL is able to punch through the barrier caused by that light in front of me way better than the TLR7A. That's important, guys, because low light does not equal no light. And we have this misconception that we're only ever going to need our weapon mounted light in our home at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, it is important to know when to use this versus when to use this. But when you do use your weapon mounted light, it's got to be able to punch through barriers, headlights, distance, whatever the case may be. And the problem with compact weapon mounted lights is you simply can't get the candela. The candela is what's going to punch through the barrier. The candela is what's going to give you the reach, right, as well as the control over your suspect by removing their visual horizon. If you blind someone, the most important thing to them is going to be that they are blinded. Okay, your eyes are one of your most important senses, and if I remove that, i.e. I remove a visual horizon, chances are you're going to stop what you're doing in order to get that visual horizon back. Now, the problem with lights this small is you can't get the reflector deep enough to give you that candela. And therein lies the problem. So you get a lot of flood, you get a good amount of flood, but you don't have a lot of reach. People always think that they're only going to use the weapon-mounted lights when it's pitch black. Guys, it is very, very rarely ever pitch black. Okay? And the strange thing about light is the brighter it is, the more powerful you need your weapon-mounted light to be. I do also feel that with a full-size weapon-mounted light, you get more value for money, really. Most compact weapon-mounted lights are max 500 lumens, max 5,000 candela. Full-size lights these days are 1,000 lumens, 25, 35, 45, 55,000 candela, depending on which light you go for. So you're getting more output, and you're also getting much better switches. So I'm almost of the opinion, if you're going to spend the money, rather buy the best thing first. The nice thing about full-size weapon-mounted lights is they work in every environment, where compact weapon-mounted lights work in some environments, some low-light environments. These things are going to operate ideally. All low-light environments, these are going to operate ideally. And, you know, if you look at the military and law enforcement, I don't think that their primary concern is the size of the light. Like, if this light was truly outperforming this light, I think they would go for the smaller light. But in military and law enforcement, they've got to get the tool that's going to give them the highest advantage in a conflict situation. And I personally believe civilians deserve that advantage as well. Remember, guys, like John Correa said, in a gunfight, it's open division, right? You can bring anything. Okay, but whatever you bring, that's all you have. And so if I was to say to you today, when you walk out of your house, you are going to be in a gunfight at some point today, which weapon-mounted light would you want on you at the time? I'm pretty sure most of you are going to say, give me the full-size one because I want maximum advantage. Well, that should be your mentality, in my opinion, every single day. Because we shouldn't operate on the mindset of kind of prepared. Well, I've got a light, it's kind of good in most situations, but it's not perfect in every situation, whereas my light needs are covered for every single situation. Guys, I hope you found this video helpful. As I say, I'm a huge believer in weapon-mounted lights. I believe that if you carry a firearm, you should have a weapon-mounted light on it. The full-size weapon-mounted lights that are available now are really, really good. The TLR1HL you can get from Belvoir Tactical. The TLR7A you can get from SA Tactical Institute. I just want to say, this wasn't a video where I'm saying TLR7A is bad. This is a video where I'm saying that there is, in my opinion, more value to going for a full-size weapon-mounted light over a compact. If you like the X300, go for the X300, but it's still very important that you carry a weapon-mounted light. So if you are someone who's like, I'm never going to carry any of those, then yes, go for the TLR7A, because I'd much rather you have a light than not have a light. Guys, that is it. I will see you in the week or weekend for another review. Have a good week. Be safe. Train hard. Cheers. God bless.